Hello and welcome to another RackForms feature demonstration video. I'm Mac Urdinik, developer of RackForms, and in this one, I think we got a pretty good one. We're looking at Stripe integration into the e-commerce module. So if you haven't heard of Stripe before, its claim to fame is that it vastly simplifies the process of accepting payments on your website. And it does so without compromises. And by that I very specifically mean that we can have a full shopping cart on our site that directly accepts credit card payments. So it used to be that you have to go through a third party to do that. Now you can have a form that just says, here are the items that I bought, and here's my credit card information. Let's complete the sale. And of course, in RackForms, we've taken all that power and wrapped it all up for you. So let's take a look at exactly how. So here in the RackForms editor then, I've created a sample job, a very simple bookstore, and I've added a bunch of e-commerce items to the form. Each one of these e-commerce items simply consists of a name and then an author name and a price, though we can configure these whatever way we want. In this case, for books, probably works best. And also, because Stripe supports subscriptions, I've decided to add a subscription block right here. And it's really important to point this out because with RackForms, we actually allow both to happen on the same form, right? So we can have one-off items like these books and subscriptions on the same form. So let's go ahead and take a look at the form in action then. So let me first shrink this down just a little bit so you can see this. And I will then select a few of these books. So I'll select Dan Brown's book and Mr. Green's book, and then finally the Painted Girls here. And then of these subscriptions, I'll go ahead and select this guy and let's say this guy. When I'm happy with the selections, I'll proceed to checkout. And now here is where the magic happens. So RackForms now has automatically taken all those items that we selected and printed a nice invoice for us right here, a nice itemized list. It gives us a subtotal, of course, and because we have a tax rate applied to this transaction, it's going to calculate that as well. And then if we scroll down, because Stripe actually requires that we have an email address for every subscription, RackForms has simply gone in and it's going to ask for that automatically, right? We don't have to configure this to happen, just does it automatically. And then we have our credit card form. So let me go ahead and fill this out. And I'm going to actually grab a sample card number from off screen, paste that in. I should actually note that another great thing about Stripe is they make it really easy to test things. And they even have credit card numbers that will fail in specific ways. So if you want to see what a failure of an outdated address is, for example, you can go ahead and pop a number for that. So in other words, really easy to test this for lots of different situations. But if everything looks good as it does now, we'll just hit submit payment here. So what's actually going to happen now is RackForms is going to submit this payment off to the Stripe services, and most importantly about that is that we're going to go to a custom confirmation page that we can define. We'll see that in just a second. But also, none of the sensitive payment details for this user have been emailed to us, have been sent to us, have been stored on our server, nothing. All of it's stored on Stripe's side, which means that we don't have to worry about any of that nasty PCI compliance stuff. We can just accept payments and not worry about anything else. So here then, again, we have our payment success page, and again, we can customize this to whatever we want. And then, perhaps most interestingly then, is Stripe, just by default then, has a fantastic little management tool. So if we actually click on one of these e-com items, under Stripe options, I can just go Manage Stripe, and we'll actually go directly to the Stripe dashboard then. And as you can see then, we can take a look at the payments that we just had come through the system. We can look at any customers that we have for our subscriptions. We can look at any of the plans that we have. So in this case, we have those romance and sci-fi and horror story collections, etc. So anyway, long story short, Stripe, a fantastic payment gateway, RackForms completely embraces that payment model, simplicity, power, and gives you a whole bunch of control to make really awesome e-commerce forms with it. As always, if you have any questions about this or any of the other great features in RackForms, please shoot me an email or give me a direct call, the number of which you'll find at the top of the website. Thank you much, and thank you for watching.